half of single men avoid interacting with women out of fear of being seen as creepy. Men are anxious about approaching women since they don't want to be seen as creepy or weird. So what should men do to avoid making women feel uncomfortable? Hey, guess what? They're already doing it. They're just avoiding women. Yeah, men are starting to realize that, in the words of Barbarossa, like a decade ago, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Men are finally learning. So dating is incredibly difficult these days, and whose fault is that? I mean this for both men and women. It's not difficult if you're not doing it anymore. So there are many individuals who don't even meet their potential partner in person first anymore. In fact, over 300 million people worldwide use a dating app to meet someone. Yet how can we blame anyone for downloading Hinge or Bumble when no one ever wants to interact with strangers anymore? Ask yourself again, whose fault is that? If a guy shows interest in you, but you're not attracted to him, you brand him a creep. Like that's the problem. Because the reason that so many guys are confused is because there's nothing that they do in particular outside of a few like very obvious like stalker behaviors. These guys, they see other guys doing the same thing they do and getting better results. And then they do it. Oh, yeah, this is apparently fine. They get branded as a creep. They fail to realize the difference between an attractive man and a creep is whether or not the woman is attracted to you. If you're a 1 and you can't behave the way a 10 does, that's just the fact of life right there. So the guys are just not, once they realize that was 80% of women are looking for the top 20% of men. If these guys aren't in the top 20%, they just shrug and say, I'll get a passport. I'll have better luck somewhere else. Yeah, and even though I'm a woman, I could definitely admit how difficult dating is for men. Women want to be approached, but if they don't like you, some of them automatically think you're creepy if you try. Thank you. At least you're honest. Of course, there are definitely ways you can come off as being creepy. Catcalling, overtly sexual comments, or coming off too strong are all examples of poor behavior that tend to scare women away. Unless the guy doing all of the above is like Brad Pitt, then it's fine. It's okay when he does it. Yeah, but what happens when women have expressed their disgust for men so much that other guys have become scared to respectfully approach someone they're interested in? Oh, no, you're not even asking the real question. What happens if men are no longer interested? That's when things get fun. How not to come off as creepy. Don't approach women. Problem solved. One psychologist named Mark Travers interviewed Austin-based dating coach Blaine Anderson. According to Anderson, many clients have reached out to her expressing their fear of approaching women due to being seen as creepy. But what does that mean? What behaviors are considered off-putting, and how do men know what's typically okay and what's not when it comes to dating? They don't, because the only thing that matters is the woman's subjective view of you. If that specific woman finds you attractive, you could get away with almost anything. If she doesn't, then nothing you do will ever make you not creepy. So for a while now, creepiness has been quite unclear to many men, giving them a looming sense of social anxiety that keeps them from conversating with women. Now, Travis was determined to find answers, and he conducted a survey of 2,000 American women between ages of 18 and 40, as well as 1,000 men from the same age group. His findings were incredibly eye-opening. About 82% of women said they experienced creepy behaviors from men. 44% of men said that their fear of being seen as creepy has reduced their likelihood of interacting with women. That number increased to 53% in single men. And it's only going to go up from here. So lastly, these are 9 behaviors that men should avoid to not come off as creepy. 1, staring. So looking at a woman that doesn't find you attractive. 2, unwanted contact on social media. Contacting a woman that doesn't find you attractive. 3, inappropriate comments. Saying anything to a woman that doesn't find you attractive. 4, controlling behaviors. Acting like a woman. 5, won't accept no. Acting like a woman. 6, unwanted physical contact. Acting like a woman. 7, pressure for sex. I mean, is that really even a problem nowadays? Like, I think it's not so much pressure. It's more like, since women have made sex so easy, a guy is like, why would I spend 3 hours and $200 on you if I'm not even going to get any sex out of it, when I can go to any of these other women and get it? But even then, that's only a problem for guys that these women already find attractive. So 8, clinginess, acted like a woman. Or 9, physical stalking, acting like a woman. So both men and women should be conscious of how they approach each other. And this actually, there's more to this. Women need to be conscious of the fact that, if men don't want them, you should take no for an answer. So let's address this issue. A lot of men might see women as a whole as toxic or cruel, and that's simply not true. Press X to doubt. This kind of generalization actually hurts both groups. Well, tell that to the women that have been labeling all men as toxic and misogynist for years. They really don't like it when the same thing is done to them, right? Yeah, it was fine all these years when the feminazis were smearing all men as bad. Now men are starting to do the same thing to women. And come on, guys, there's a lot of nuance here. Don't go treating each individual like they're all part of this group, like you guys did with men, huh? So sure, some women can be unnecessarily harsh towards men. Some of them are eager to assume guys are being creepy even when they're genuinely nice. Narcissism is rising in America, and people are becoming less empathetic, leading to a larger population of meaner women and men. One of those led to the other, though. Still, that doesn't mean there's a shortage of women who want to be pursued. Well, sucks to be you. Like, if you're one of those women, like, I'm legitimately sorry, but from a man's perspective, it's not worth the risk to see if you're one of those. It's another analogy from the good old days. This would be like having a plate with 100 berries on them, and one of those berries is delicious and the other 99 are poisonous. And the only way you can find out which one is the delicious edible one is by taste. Just take them one at a time and eat them until you find the one that's not poisoned. Like that's what dating is for a man in current year. It's not worth it. That's why so many men are going overseas for their women or just dropping out completely. So, however, men also need to understand why some women see guys as creepy. Now, men just don't care anymore. Like what women need to understand is once guys become apathetic towards you, they don't care about your opinion anymore. Like you don't matter to them anymore. Once guys lose interest, you can't come around making demands. Oh, men need to do this. Men don't want you. They don't need to do anything. You're a non-issue for them. Now, growing up, we've had to remain alert and vigilant of our surroundings due to years of being catcalled, assaulted, harassed, and hurt by men. So the most privileged and safest leisure class in the history of humanity, that being Western women, are acting like they're living in a third world country, always in fear for their lives. This is one of the reasons why men don't want you. Like you blow even the smallest thing, you blow way out of proportion. This is why you can't be taken seriously. There are women who are walking around with their trauma, and their initial gut reaction may cause them to see most men as an automatic red flag. There are a small amount where this is probably true. But if you listen to them blowing things out of proportion, it makes it seem like 6 out of every 5 women are like this. So I understand how incredibly hard this makes dating for both genders, but because both adult men and women are essentially carrying hurt from past relationships, it's important that both groups remain conscious of how they best approach each other. Men have their solution. Men have just given up on Western women. They're going, if men are not willing to completely drop out of the dating market, they just go to a different dating market where the women aren't so toxic. And meanwhile, when women try to do the same thing, the only men they're able to get are those that just want to use them for their resources. And otherwise, like that story I covered a few months ago of this one woman was an American woman, moved to Russia. And she was complaining how she can't get a date because Russian men won't put up with Western feminazi bullshit. That's how women are treated when they try to go overseas. But Western men have no problems getting women. So men should approach women in the proper place and time with respect and confidence, since some of them will be more than willing to listen, but they're not worth the effort. Look, you're pretty much saying, oh, these women are so damaged and have so much baggage, you have to tiptoe around them. And guys are like, that's no, I am not gonna attach myself to someone I'll have to walk on eggshells around the rest of my life. Hell no. So likewise, women shouldn't be too quick to judge a man's character. Single women may need to lower their standards a bit, especially if they're being unrealistic. Well, at least this author is a lot more honest than most others, because this is 100% true. No, if you can't handle me at my worst day, vanish. That's right. As soon as they start saying that line, and it's like, well, your best isn't that much better than your worst, and it's definitely not worth dealing with your worst. Now let's talk about meeting people online. Social media has enabled men and women to meet online without fear of rejection in person. At the same time, young people are actually leaving dating apps. So there's a possibility that people go back to a more human way of finding a partner. Did you forget the part that young people are just dating less in general? So they're leaving dating apps, but that doesn't mean they're meeting in person. They're just not dating. With that being said, men must approach women by being more gentle and not being inappropriate, pushy, or persistent. Whether or not you're seen as that depends on if they're attracted to you. So if you're a guy and you get rejected, remember that doesn't define you as a person. No, you need to tell women that. Like this author brought up Bumble earlier. So I've covered multiple stories about Bumble. And for those of you who aren't aware of it yet, Bumble is a feminazi dating app where men can't initiate contact with women. Like, women basically scroll through available men, and if a woman likes you, she makes contact with you. So it's an app where only women can make contact first. And so many of these women, I've covered so many articles of them crying that they can't handle rejection. Like, now that they're in a position where they don't have to deal with these toxic men who can't handle rejection, they're the ones that are now writing these articles crying that they try to reach out to like 40 guys a day and they get ignored by all of them. It's just no, just learn to handle rejection. It's just a word. It doesn't define you as a person. As for making a good dating profile, make sure you're selecting a good photo of yourself and a specific bio that shows your niche interests. Yeah, and don't do the whole MySpace Angels thing. Although I guess MySpace isn't around anymore. Yeah, that's where women, like, they either use a photo that's 20 years old and 200 pounds less than reality, or they're really good at manipulation and like angle manipulation and photo editing. So you could, with enough editing and enough skill, sometimes you could get 300-pound women making themselves look like they could be models at a very specific angle with very specific lighting. So if you're a man, always ask, like, if you're on the fence about a woman and all you have to go by is a deceptively angled photo, ask for a full body photo from the front. Like, no weird angles, just full body front on angle. If they can't give you that, they're hiding something.